All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be your Monday night SITREP, about 6:30 p.m. on August 30th, 2021. And so, without further ado, let me hop on over to our main page here. And if you would, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification. So, interesting things we're going to be covering tonight. This is kind of, I don't know. My level of frustration is pretty high, as you guys will see. Just covering this, because it's just remarkable to me how many people we just pulled out of a country and brought them to our country and other countries in record numbers, but still managed to leave a whole bunch of people behind, and I mean thousands of people behind. And so our administration today actually announced that they were bragging about the fact that they were done a day early to the Taliban. Like the Taliban is going to be proud of us or something, right? But they bragged that they were done a day early, yet they left thousands of people behind. So let that settle in for a quick minute. So, all right. So as we're looking at the board right now, keep in mind it's coming up on about 4 a.m. Over here, and we still have some aircraft that are kind of settling in. These are actually 3 U.S. C-17s came out of Kuwait that look to be headed into Europe. And then down here, we've got another one. That's a Canadian one that just took off out of Kuwait. And so we've got about 4 C-17s that are airborne. And then there's 2 C-130s here in the UAE. But there is really nothing to speak of over this area right now. So we have left with still 24 hours to go, a lot of people in this country. And so and I want to focus on something because I just want to show you what kind of terrain that they're up against if they are trying to get out of this place. And it's not a good situation because, again, if you look at the mountainous, I mean, just look at how this, I mean, it may look daunting just from a satellite image, but when you're on the ground, these are some pretty big mountains, and you're not just going to walk through them, but not just if you were deciding to try and get through to another country. You can't go right, because if you go right over here through Jalalabad and that area, it's going to be heavily full of Taliban and tribal members, right? But if you get into Pakistan, you got a long way to go in Pakistan before you start getting to people that are probably going to help you, okay? Because that mindset, there really isn't a border there, okay? Now, if you go left, you got Iran, and we know they are not U.S. friendly, okay, or friendly to anybody else. So you're not going to be able to go left. Not only that, but you got a pretty big mountain range you got to get over. Now, if you go north, which is probably the only way you can probably escape for the most part, you got to get across all these mountains. All right, so really not an option to get up here into that area. Not only that, but those mountains are they're treacherous, and there's bad guys throughout that. Okay, so. The only other option would be to go south, and that is a very long way. That's a very long way to get down here. So, all right. So that kind of is where the situation is tonight. It's not good at all. And so if we bounce over here to Flashbang Schedule, I just want to take a quick look at this and just show you. Now, you'll notice things are down twice. They probably do that because he probably forgets the first one, so that, they give him two of them so that he remembers. It's the only thing I can think of because it doesn't make any sense. But this is a press briefing that is closed to the press. But yeah, he gets his daily briefing at 9:30, and then of course he's going to talk here at 10 a.m. And he's meeting with Bob Marley. So Flashbang Bob Marley together with their national security team to receive intelligence, security, and diplomatic updates at the evolving situation. And so there's that one, and of course that's on there twice as well. So, and this one's twice as well. So yeah, it doesn't, I don't know. Like I said, probably on there twice because he can't remember the first one. So but that's his schedule for today. Oh, and by the way, he wraps up at 2 p.m. So hard day. I guess he's taking the evening off since he's done with getting everybody he's going to get out of Afghanistan. So now, if we get over here to flight radar and you kind of look at the map, again, it's about 4 a.m. over there. But if you look at the traffic, you can see this is going into Iran, Pakistan. They are steering well clear of Afghanistan. And there's nothing on the board for landing in Kabul. If you go pull up the airport and look at what's normally the schedule is got, you know, a bunch of stuff on there, even though they aren't landing anything in there, but it's empty. There ain't nobody flying into that place. So it is now probably the largest terrorist state on the planet. And so thank you, Flashbang, for that. So, so there's that. There's really nothing to speak of up in that area. There may be some fighters up, but I'm even doubting that. I think we completely cut bait and left. And so, so there's that. Now let's get over here and look at the news reports on this real fast before I get all over to the other stuff here in the U.S. Notice that the number here, U.S. taps 3 more military bases to house Afghan refugees and expands the upper limit to 50,000. Okay. Remember, it was originally, it was, I don't think it went above 20, and then it went to 30, and then, so now it's 50. Now, I have not looked at these other bases here up in New Jersey. I will tell you, I've got eyes on Fort McCoy and I've got eyes on Fort Bliss, and what I'm going to show you is going to be pretty eye-opening. But yeah, 50,000. Now, they were bragging today that they had actually removed 122,000 people successfully from Afghanistan. So, due to quick maths, there's probably going to be a lot more than 50,000 people coming here to the U.S. All right. Okay, now over here to Reuters, where they're talking about rockets targeted the U.S. troops as core diplomats fly out of Kabul, and that was earlier today. So yeah, this place is going hot pretty quickly, and I imagine, you know, it's gonna be a pretty bad area, probably starting tomorrow and all the way through. I bet September 11th is going to be bad. But there's a couple things here. They talk about the anti-missile systems intercept up to 5 rockets. So those were fired at us. There's the Biden at ceremony receiving the bodies of U.S. troops. Of course, I don't know if you guys saw him look at his watch while they were pulling the bodies off of the aircraft. Just the utmost respect. The guy disgusts me. It's just incredible at how just it has no business being where he is. Let's just be honest. He fell asleep when he was in with the Israeli Prime Minister the other day. You know, their meeting, and he nods off. So yeah, you really can't just make this stuff up. It's insane. So. But anyway, the number here they're showing 114,400 evacuated is actually 122,000. And but they say there's several thousand that are left behind. Now, here's the other thing that's going to really chap your backside. Now, according to Eric Prince, who is a specialist, you guys know Blackwater, right? Who has the ability to go in and basically extract people. They've got contacts, they've got aircraft, and there are a lot of organizations out there like that. They were told that the Flashbang administration told the Taliban, do not cooperate with any of these folks trying to get people out. So let that sink in. All right. Okay. Now let's get over here to Biggs Air Force, because this is where these people are going. And let's just take a quick look at what we've got on the docket. One of the things you're gonna notice here on arrivals is there are quite a few. Note the time here. It didn't start till 3 p.m. This actually started way, way, way earlier than that. The board is rolling, and they're wiping it as it goes. And so, but all of these Washington Dulles, everything you see here from Washington, that's a Reach aircraft. So that's going to actually be a C-17, which is going to bring probably about 3 plane loads full of people, compared to a 737. But then you get down here, you got 2 more on the board again. There are about 12 flights a day going in and out of Biggs right now. Those hold about 175 people per aircraft. And then you can see the returns are heading back to get more folks. So pretty full. And it's going to continue to, because they are not even remotely close to being done. All right. And so these people right now are coming in from Kuwait. They're coming into Washington, and they're being staged there, and then they're being sent now, like I said, up to four other military bases, as I just showed you. And so one thing I did find interesting, and this is talking to somebody that is in the know, they were telling me that the ones that speak English are extremely mad at Flashbang because of his actions. They said that they had a life, they had cars, they had a house. You know, everybody was good, and they had to basically leave with the shirts on their back and nothing else to come here. And so they're pretty mad about that. So, you know, it's crazy. I guess you didn't really, you know, I know for me, I didn't really process it from that standpoint of people being mad and getting yanked out of your own country. I guess you're getting used to that, okay? And so, but there's another data point for you, all right? All right, so that's going to be Biggs. You can see you've still got a ton of flights coming and going. Now, I do want to show you something here. This is Biggs Army Airfield. You got the runway right over here, as you guys can see. I mean, I'll back it up so you can see a little better. But the tent city that they are put into play is all in here. Okay, it's a giant white tent complex. Just so you guys know, I don't have any photos of it. I'm just going to tell you that's the location of that bad dude. Okay, and so this is your runway. These are the roads. So anybody driving down 375 or 601, you can probably see those from the road because it's a very large white complex. Okay. Okay, now let's get over here to Volk Field, which is up in Wisconsin, and I'm just going to show you. We do have, by the way, not just Southwest or Swift Air that are all getting in on moving immigrants around the country. You've got Allegiant, Air right here, as well as United Airlines is in on this. So just remember, if you have to fly, just, you know, pick wisely. I wouldn't support any of these companies based on the fact of what they're doing. So, but yeah, so this one, again, Washington. These are all Southwest, United Airlines, and Allegiant, sorry. And so that's 1, 2, 3, that's 5 flights right there on the arrival board. Now you go down here, you got 2 more, United Airlines coming out of there. I will tell you that board keeps shrinking because I looked at it a little while ago and it was full all the way to the bottom. And so there are a lot more flights. So it looks like they've got about a dozen flights full of Afghanis. Now these are poppies, okay, going to Biggs a day. So 12 flights a day to Wisconsin, 12 flights a day over here to Biggs. And now if I were to guess, looking at this airport and knowing just kind of the lay of the land there. So you've got Castle Rock over here. This is kind of a little bit of a bump, like that's a little hill. You're not going to be able to put any tents in this general area, right? Because this area is not, it's not level, it's not set. Now this area over here is, it's really the only place I could imagine them putting anything on that base. Because you typically don't want to do anything on the end of a runway for safety reasons, right? So this big spread out here is probably where, if I had to guess, are either there or up here, a bunch of tent cities for this base, okay? And I imagine it is going to be a large, just like the other one, very large complex, okay? So there's that one. We'll continue to watch the flights go in and out. It's going to be, I will tell you, it's going to take weeks for them to get all these people because you're flying 175 people at a pop on most of these aircraft, maybe 200 at best, unless you're flying the C-17s. And that's going to take a while when you start talking about, you know, moving 50,000 people. Okay, so it's going to take a couple weeks to get everybody in place. So, all right, now let's get over here to Laughlin. What's interesting is that this board has gotten awfully quiet. It seems like all of our immigration focus right now is on the poppies and not the bananas. But I will tell you the bananas are still coming. It's just slowed down or something has happened because all of the efforts and focus have gone to this. And you can see this is normally we have, you know, there's 2 or 3 on the board sprinkled and there's nothing on there right now. So. All right, and that's usually Swift Air coming into this place. All right, now let's get over here to, speaking of Swift Air, let's look at the flights they have left on the board. Now a minute ago I was looking and they have all pretty much cleared off, but this one looks like it's coming out of Kansas City back to home base. Now just a couple minutes ago there were flights on here that were McAllen, there were some Laredo, and they were headed down in or coming from Mexico and Central America. Okay. So, and I mean like the Yucatan, Cancun, there were flights coming in and out of those areas, Guatemala. And so they have since landed. All right. But we still got a couple of them on here we'll take a look at. All right. Now, this is going to be N531 AU. Again, this is Swift Air. And that one, if you notice, 2 days ago came out of El Salvador, went to Brownsville, Texas. And this, so our last SITREP was on Friday. And so that was the last one on Friday afternoon. That was after we did our SITREP. So that's where it was. Okay. All right. Like I said, it's slowed down a little bit. Doesn't mean it's stopping, but it's just slowed down because of this other effort. So this is going to be N629SW, landed over 2 days ago. Again, that was a Friday flight. And that one actually Brownsville to San Antonio. All right. And so, but if you go back to Friday and look at what that one was up to, this thing was down in Ecuador to San Antonio. Then it went again from Ecuador to Brownsville, then from Brownsville over San Antonio. So that's 2 legs right there that they were bringing people in. So, like I said, still doing it. All right. N964CE. Now, this one is actually coming back at round robin today. Took off out of Laredo, went up to Columbus, and then from Columbus back down to Laredo. So that took a fresh load of bananas up, and it is coming back probably to reload, all right, for tomorrow, I would imagine. Now, if we look at Aeronaves, this is going to be their flights, and these are basically, this is a Mexican airline that has been paid to operate in and out of our country to bring bananas, okay? So it's just contract flights or charters, right? So this one going from Laredo down to Mexico. This one here looks like it's coming out of Louisville, Kentucky, down to, that's also looks like Mexico, Cancun to Miami, the Yucatan over to Miami. So Shreveport into Guadalupe, and then down Mexico into Laredo. So this is a pretty good one here. This looks like it's picking up the slack for the Swift Air stuff at the moment. All right. So one thing I did want to point out was that our DOJ was in Amarillo, Texas today. I don't know what they were doing there, but this is what they call, this is like the DOJ Go team. All right, landed 50 minutes ago, came out of Amarillo, went back up to DC. More than likely, it dropped some folks off because they typically do that. They'll run folks out, and then come Thursday, they will send an aircraft back out to pick them up. And so it looks like you got the DOJ out here in Amarillo doing something right now. So if you're in Amarillo, just a heads up. All right. And then let's get over here to the border real fast and look at N204TX. Looks like it's down here in El Valde, over to Del Rio, or El Valde. I don't know how to even say that, but yeah, this is again, this is a little hot area, and you wouldn't think because your border's all the way down here, but yeah, they say this is still pretty active in terms of crime and cartel and drugs and things like that. And so the other N956 TX, that's going to be Del Rio to Del Rio. That was on Sunday, and you can see they were doing some searching here in this general area, just north of Darlin, Texas. And yep, there you have it. All right, now I'm going to point out something real fast over here. I didn't want you to think that I have forgotten about the spa. So we're going to look at Guantanamo Bay, and I'm just going to point out that we had actually an out-of-sequence bird today. Normally, we have different aircraft that come in, and on a Monday and on a Tuesday, and then they exfil on a Friday. Today, this is the only one that was on the board, which I thought was interesting, but this is another one of our Graybirds. This is a Phoenix Air. Came out of D.C. At about 8:11 a.m. It landed around 11:27 a.m. at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. All right. Then from there, it actually flew back over to, let me see here, back over to Lauderdale. And so that's kind of where it's been sitting. And then I guess whoever they brought in from D.C. is still there. They certainly didn't bring them to Lauderdale, I would imagine. And then that Lauderdale flight back up here to Carsville is a home base operation. So that's where they kind of hang out. All right. So they left there, went up to D.C., picked somebody up. Brown Zone. I say D.C. The Brown Zone. And then came back down here to Guantanamo Bay. So That said, let's get over here, and I'm just going to show you what's on the docket for today. So there was an arraignment hearing that took place today for this is a guy that is tied to, I want to say 9/11, but let's just double check it. Let me see. Incept, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. But that was today, started at 6 a.m., ended at 2:30. And so it was a one-time event, normal priority. It wasn't anything else. But you can get more information on this guy here. Yeah, so that was actually on the docket today. So that could have been tied to the reason the flight came in midday and then rolled back out. Like I said, maybe. Looks like it left. So that thing ran till 2:30, and then you've got it actually leaving. So yeah, they didn't take anybody back. Like I said, not if that thing kept going till 2:30, because that was there at 1:35. So there's that. Now let's get rid of XPL Honduras. This is our other prison location, or alternate to the spa. We did have 2 C-130s roll in from Miami this week. And Shark 98, Shark 74, those are typically troop rotation. And so it looks like maybe they brought some troops in, or they may have moved them for weather to avoid that hurricane coming through. So there's no telling. It's either troops or that, one or the other. And then you have this one, which is actually a Hungarian aircraft. And so ASL Airlines Hungary 19. And so that one came out of Honduras. It's kind of a local flight. But it's a little gray bird. Looks almost like your normal, like your little Learjet or so. Okay, it's a nice plane though. But okay, and that one pops in every blue moon. Okay. All right, let's get back over to our main board, and we will continue to watch this. Like I said, between now and Friday, this area is probably going to go hot, and you're probably going to be seeing some really bad stuff that happened with people that got left behind. Okay. And that all falls on the feet of our infamous Flashbang, okay? And he should be held accountable for that, 100%. So, all right, now we get over here to the U.S. It's actually pretty quiet. Only 96 birds up right now for the U.S., which is very low. That is a very low number. I got some tankers up. Of course, we got a storm rolling right through the wheel housing here, which is usually pretty active. So that could be why we don't see quite as much. They're still flying a lot of trainers here in Texas, both areas. This is out near Del Rio, and this is going to be, so that's Laughlin, and then this is down here in San Antonio and that area. So, and then these are a bunch of trainers up here as well. Air refueler, C5 coming inbound. That's got that arch kind of thing. So that's probably coming across. Yeah, that's coming from over in the Middle East. Or yeah, probably Kuwait if I had to guess. All right. And then we've got, looks like a stacked up couple C-130s kind of loaded in, headed into, I'm not sure. They could be rolling into this DC area, or they're up here into Jersey, but hard to tell. There's another C-130 there, but you can see them kind of rolling across here. And then that's going to be Forge 94. It's going to be a Gulfstream. It's a little G5. And that looks like a Reach that is just on ground. So let me back up just a little bit and see if we can figure out where that one came from. But that is landing. That's on ground here. Yeah. So there's Wilmington. Yeah. Okay. There's Philly. All right. So I'm going to back it up. I just want to see this thing. Probably came out of Kuwait as well. So nope. It came out of, where is that? There's Luxembourg over here. So, yeah, so that came out of Europe. It looks like that's where these are coming into. So it looks like that's our new processing side. So making it across the drink there. All right. Now let me back up just a tad before we wrap up here. I'm going to take a look down here in Australia, see if we got anything new going on. Don't know why it just bounced on me like that. All right. Now I'm going to look at Australia. See if we've got anything up. Now these look like your normal trainers, and B350, 737, couple Helos, EC35s, and then 737 and let's see here. I think that's an air refueler. Yeah, just double check as we get in closer. So yeah, there's your air refueling boom right there. So looks like they've got some air refuelers up, doing some, probably got a couple fighters up if I had to guess in that general area. There's one right there. It's a little hawk trainer, the trainer bird. So kind of quiet. It's around the world, actually. Everybody must be getting ready to go hot. So I think all eyes are going to be on this area for at least between now and 9/11, and then they may shift actually back over here to the U.S. Because there's ain't no telling what's going on. But my spidey senses tell me 9/11 could be bad here, just based on chatter and things that we're hearing. So definitely stay frosty between now and then. So, all right, folks, listen, that's going to be our sit rep for this evening. You guys be safe out there. I'll be back with a new one and update on Wednesday. And until then, stay frosty. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeywerxus.com.